we have taken all of the kind of scenes that were sung through before and turned them into scenes. We kind of revamped all the music. St. Louis native John McDaniel from the Rosie O'Donnell Show and from every other show on Broadway is one of our partners in reconceiving the show. And so we took all the music and put it into this like Caribbean kind of language that has wild drums and kind of sounds that you hear in the Caribbean, and a whole nother musical vocabulary that plays fast and loose with the Gilbert and Sullivan, but keeps those amazing tunes.
What the three of you created, which I found amazing, was, and you talk about John's reimagining of the score and the orchestrations and the arrangements, is that the show feels like it was written today. It sort of has that kind of winking perspective, yet the Gilbert and Sullivan music is, I mean, it's just amazing. And you get into the second act and it's so much fun, and then you lay out that beautiful love duet, and I mean, you're just gone.
That's the great thing, is there is such a solid beating heart at the center of the show, and part of that is that the three of us all deeply love and respect the material and the characters, but at the same time, it cracks us up, and all we want to do is make each other laugh.
Right.
And usually, if all three of us are laughing at something, then that pretty much covers a cross-section of the audience.
Well, you can tell when you watch the show that whoever was involved with this had a lot of fun. I mean, that spirit is what really engaged me. That's very clear.
And now, because she's written for sitcoms, and she's written on Broadway and television, and for Legally Blonde, is willing to sit in the back of a rehearsal room, and if I'm working with someone, half the time I would turn around and look at her when there was a question about whether something was working, and she hands you another page. Try this. And that's the kind of work environment we thrive in.
So we're the fourth theater to do the show, and I, as you know, I fell in love with it when I saw your first production at Goodspeed, and it's gotten only better than that. Talk about how Mabel is sort of conceived in your production, like what the character is.
We looked at what motivated this plot. When the show was originally created as an operetta, it was making fun of a lot of local and timely issues, and also a format that a lot of standard operettas were following. And so we were looking at ways to update the storytelling and drive it more. And one of those was by integrating the notion of a curse, which is in every good pirate movie. Yeah. So we looked at Ruttigore, another great Gilbert and Sullivan show, which had a song called The Witch's Curse, which we turned into The Pirate's Curse. And that becomes an engine for the plot here. On top of that, we thought, what separates this woman, this Mabel, this sister that we're supposed to really care about and fall in love with, from her other sisters? And it became clear that she was the most intellectually curious. She was the one who had everything but wanted to know about what was outside of her protected world. So she's become an explorer. She's a real gung-ho kind of woman with a pith helmet and a butterfly
and the net,
a backpack full of butterflies and jars full of specimens, and she flies in a hot air balloon all over the island to kind of discover new species. And this new species she discovers is a pirate. Unwittingly, she knocks him out with a coconut and has to kind of wake him up, but does it as if she has no sense of what he's actually going to come back with. So in a weird way, she's civilizing him, and he is taking her out of her small protected world. And the two of them clearly need each other.
The great thing for the Muny audience, Nell and John are going to be here during the entire rehearsal process, and we're going to be changing and making sort of a new edition of the show, and
this is going to be
big,
best and sort of newest version of the show, which I think is something that we've all wanted to do for a long time, and thankfully, you know, with your guidance and sort of a great mandate, we're now kind of revising a large portion of the show and making it especially suited to the Muny.